but let's pick up from where that went off. Okay. OBS just crashed. Well, we'll see what else crashes along the way. I'm sure everything is going to crash along the way. Okay. All right. Well, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not tuning in yet, then you don't know what you're missing. It's 11 a.m. on the 1st of January, and I'm at the Brickyard, and it's very quiet here. Nobody else is out of bed yet, nursing their headaches or whatever. Happy New Year. I have a Teletype here, and I have another one over there that I need to do some work on. And so I came down here to do some work on it. I'll show you exactly what the work is that needs to be done, because this one is behaving a little strangely. Should we turn it on? I'll turn it on. This is this one here, right on the desk next to me. There's lots of other toy stuff that I want to do, but this is the work piece. This is like, I've got to fix this. This is the one that I fixed up, and it had a mouse living in the innards of it down here, and so I replaced a bunch of springs and I cleaned the whole thing out, and I fixed up all of the electronics where the wires had been chewed to pieces by the friendly mouse. And that's all done. Oh yeah, I better turn it on. Yes. Ka-ching. Yeah, there we are. So it's working really well. I mean, generally, it's this is in local mode, so it's not connected to the machinery yet. But I fixed up Linux so that I can make it work properly, and this is working decently well. But with a glitch, as I discovered when I started actually playing with it. There's a glitch in it, so I got to fix the glitch. And it's a mechanical glitch, absolutely mechanical glitch. So there was an electrical glitch too down in here. I added some extra capacitors to parallel the ones that are there in the power supply, because occasionally, and I haven't seen it happen since, but I'm going to watch out just in case, but occasionally there would be like a jub, and it would print random characters. And I think that's because the solenoid down here that pulls all the bits when they arrive was just losing current. I think it was due to ripple on the power supply. So I put some extra capacitance in parallel with these old 50-year-old capacitors, and it seemed to fix the problem. Yeah, but there's a mechanical problem that then I noticed. So let me show you it, because it's kind of interesting. And by the way, I've got to say, the Curious Mark Egg's series of fixing his teletypes, if you haven't watched his videos on YouTube already, has been really useful through this process. He's really doing a great thing. Hi to 20, good morning or afternoon, and Happy New Year. So yeah, I'll show you the mechanics of this. If we zoom in, what you can see here is I'm going to press the letter G, and it prints the letter G. That's what you'd hope for. Press the letter H, it prints the letter H. J prints the letter J. K, L, and so on. Okay? Let me print the letter A, and it didn't. Okay, let me print the letter 9, and it did. Let me print the letter A again, and the A is right now. Let me print an O, and there's an O, and then go back to print an A, and the A is wrong again. So I think this is mechanical stickiness, because the A should print a letter A and it doesn't. It prints a C. And then you print a few like 9s and then go back to the A and it works fine. And so there's something slightly weird about this. And I think it's actually stickiness inside of, where's my little pointer? Inside of the mechanics of the print unit, the print head carriage. So I have to take the print head carriage out. I got to unplug the machine and take the carriage out and give it a good working over and see if I can fix it. So this is really slightly strange. My best explanation of it actually is, let's see if I can open the thing here. I have a code chart. Where is that? There it is. Now this code chart is the type wheel, and basically it's the ASCII character set, and there's one half of it that is printed with a clockwise rotation of the print head, which is all of this stuff on the left, and then all the stuff on the right, the print head swivels around the other way, and so that's the left and right movement. And then you can see these 4 rows. Those are the vertical movement of the print head. So when you see this little head here bounce up and down, that's the vertical movement. If I do a P, which actually prints as an R right now because of the same problem, when I do a P, you see it jump all the way up. I don't know if you can actually see it. It jumps all the way to here. And that's because the P is the one that makes it jump the furthest. But if I do like an exclamation mark or one of these punctuations, then you should see that it really doesn't jump very far at all. It jumps a little bit, but it doesn't jump all the way up. And then the print head rotation, G is going to rotate like all the way around. Can I even see it? You can't see with the camera here, but the letter G is actually right on the back of this thing. I can't lift it right now. If I turn the power off, I may be able to lift it. I'll pull it down and show you. So it spins all the way around to hit the G, and it spins all the way around the other way to print the letter O. And so what's happening is my letter A is coming out as a C, and that means the second bit is getting triggered when it shouldn't. And I probably have the same problem with a 1 and a 3, but I haven't tried that. Let's go. Yeah, number 1 prints as a number 3. And then if I hit the 9 that reset that thing before, then the 1 prints properly. And curiously, the 9 is on the other side of the wheel, so it's spinning around the other way. Seems to clear the stuckness. But the Q and the S are probably wrong. Let's print a Q. Let's print a S. They're okay. But now if I print Q, it's stuck on the S. So it's a mechanical thing. And there's some stuckness in here, and it could be just like it's sticky grease, but I have to take it out and figure it out. So that's my plan. So meanwhile, on the other machine, I have a whole totally different project. With a bit more detail. So yeah, to take this out, I'm going to undo these here, release this, then I'm going to undo the other end of it, and then this whole thing kind of pops out. It's held by, there's a bar that it goes along the back, and there's a bar here that it rests along, and then there's a kind of a bail that moves backwards and forwards to hit the print head. So those three things are holding it in position. So I've got to take this bar that it runs along out of the machine to get it out. So I'll do that. But meanwhile, I have another nefarious plan. All right. So now the other teletype. The other teletype is connected to my Raspberry Pi and is working just fine. And here we are. Good morning. Now what I want to do here is connect this to some toys. That's my other project. While I unplug this one and let it cool down a little, I'm going to do a software project, and you guys can join in, anyone who's watching. And this software project is to do with the AI dungeon. So, what is the AI dungeon? Well, let's go switch this to a web browser. And here's a web browser. And somewhere over here we have a web page that talks about AIDungeon.io. AI Dungeon is this game. It's built on basically the GPT-2 language AI, transformer-based AI. GPT-2 is this machine learning model that does really good language and will make up words and so on. You may have seen talktotransformer.com, talktotransformer.com, and I played with this a little while ago on here and had a lot of fun. Oh, this is running the enormous model now. Oh, right. So Talk to Transformer is doing the full model as well. Wow. Okay, so AI Dungeon is an interactive dungeon game based on this model. You are standing at a gate. Okay. Good morning. And so it'll make up some text based on your prompt that says somewhere there's another gate, etc., etc. Now, these wires go to a supercomputer. Sure enough. So AI Dungeon is like taking this whole model, this massive language model, and turning it into a game. So what they've done is, it's this guy from Utah somewhere. He's turned it into apps. You can go play it on your phone and so on. But I want to play it on the Teletype. So I downloaded their GitHub. And I basically followed the install instructions, which are pretty straightforward. You download the model, and then you run play.py. And I'm not going to tune the model myself, I'm going to use their standard model. But where am I going to run this? So I don't have a GPU on my machine. What I decided was, let's put this on an Amazon EC2 instance. And this is going to run on a G3S X Large, which is a GPU-backed Amazon instance. And if I start that instance up with any luck, then I'll be able to connect to it, and so it runs this thing. So that's great. It's just running AI Dungeon. Now on another window I have a terminal. Yeah, and I have the this is the .profile that I've attached onto this EC2 instance machine. It basically says cd into this directory where that code is all checked out, and then start the model. So as soon as you log into the machine, it's going to start the model and play, and then when you've finished, it's just going to exit. So this is the profile script for the virtual machine that is running the AI Dungeon model. So how do I connect to that thing? Well, let's go back on here. The Teletype is connected to a Raspberry Pi. And in my .ssh directory, I have a thing here, and I don't have the right host name, and I don't know if my EC2 key is right, but let's try it. When I have the machine spun up, it has an IP address, 18.214.99.119. So let's go put that in here. And can I see all my windows so that I can see that thing? 18.214.99.119. That's now the address of my Dungeon host. Okay. So from this Raspberry Pi, I should be able to SSH into crappy, poopy dupe. Okay, it doesn't work. Because I got the wrong key. Okay, so I want to do that from here, from the Teletype, but I can't yet. So bear with me 1 minute. I'm going to try and kind of fix that. By copying my private key onto this Raspberry Pi. And yeah, okay, let's try that. No. Oh, because the permission's wrong. Let's try it again. No. What? What? Something bad is happening. I don't know what is happening, but something unusual is happening. I tried this from home, connecting not from the Raspberry Pi, but connecting from my Mac, and it was great, and everything worked fine, and now it's all messed up. Okay, I don't know what is messed up. Username. Yeah, oh, thank you. I wonder. I have the username wrong, absolutely. Because it's not an EC2 user machine, it's a Ubuntu machine. Thank you. Does it work? Yes, it does. So, thank you, that was perfect. It was the Ubuntu user, not the EC2 user. So, okay, so now from here, on my Teletype, yes! We have a AI Dungeon connection from the Teletype. All right, while that starts up, I'm going to take apart this other machine, and I'll show you the bits when I've taken them apart. It might take a few minutes. I don't know how long it's going to take to go. But it'll start up and print some noisy stuff. Beautiful. All right. Now on this other machine, it's unplugged. I'm going to move it a little so you can see a piece of it here. First of all, I'm going to take off this. And zoom, it goes straight away. You can't really see that anymore. I wonder if we can move it. Wow, this is slow. This is taking some real time to initialize, and I'm worried that it's taking so long. Oh no. Okay. Yes! Now I changed the banner because the banner was like ANSI art, and so let's have a new game. And okay. Oh, my line length may be too long. Let's move the camera a little. Yeah, it's going to go over the end of like the 72 character lines, but hopefully it'll be readable even with that. Alright, so we've got some instructions. We can print those out, that's okay. Oh, this is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I'm going to turn the volume up on here, because you have to have the noise effect. And we'll be in the adventure. And I'm going to wait for your suggestions on what we should do in the adventure. Because that's going to be much more fun. You are Zachariah. Oh no, I need word wrap. Okay. I wonder how it does word wrap. It's probably just like 80 characters. You have a broken rifle and a gas mask. You are on a quest to... You don't want to stay here. The only thing that's keeping you from leaving is your desire for something against Katya. What should I do? So this is the AI dungeon, and it's storyless in a funny way, because the whole thing is just built from the prompts, but it's extraordinary. You're gambling with technicians, but I need to keep going. I decide to walk out of the building. And I wonder if I should just leave this place. The only thing that's keeping me from is the desire for something, revenge maybe, against Katya. Well, let's go find, where is Katya? Where can I find Katya? Oh, so to get to Neuro is going to take weeks. I need to fix the word wrap to have this like really be fun. I could probably get there by foot or horse. Okay, so I want to look for a horse. Oh, this is so good. No wonder this thing boom. Storytelling with an AI. You haven't been hunting. You ride into the nearest town. He looks like he hadn't. Probably a young something. He looks like he hasn't. My trailer. Okay. My trailer. Let's look for some food. Oh no, this is going downhill. Okay. This is so cool. This is really fun. It's like, I think it's the perfect vehicle for this AI dungeon. I'm not getting my mechanics done. I've got to pay attention here. Doesn't seem to notice. Soon we arrive at the next village. Oh right, we've arrived at Neuro already. That was like a super short quest. Good morning. Let's go into Neuro. All right. The AI dungeon. It's going to take forever. That's that. You enter Neuro City. It seems very different. They have cars. I'm still feeling weak and decide to rest. Okay, while I'm resting, while I'm resting, I'm going to also show you some of this stuff. Yeah. So that you see the process of working on this. Okay. Down in here, I've taken off this end, and it was held by this. So basically this was attached on here, we held down it. Then the other end has this nice little thing, and it sits on top of here, like that, and swivels into place, which is kind of cool. So once you swivel it out of place, then you can take the belt out. So what does that do? Well, that frees up the belt, so we've not got it tangled anymore. I'm also going to take off the ribbon because it'll get in the way. Alright, so this is super clean, but it needs a bit of work. I'm not sure where it's sticking. Now the other thing that I did was I took off this rail. So this rail fits through here and slots in here and is held on the other end by the bail that we just took out, by this thing. That literally holds it down. So that rail is what the head carriage runs along. So I'm going to take it out. You see it has a couple notches in it. Those notches are actually held into place here by, can I see it? There's a little notch on this that holds this solidly into place. So having released that, I now have this thing a little free. It can move a little, but it's not completely freed yet. It's still on the spring, on the return spring. I should maybe have taken the return spring off first. And it's running on the rail here, and it's also kind of held on the bail here that I can't quite reach. So now I'm going to put the camera back up and wiggle it loose. But let's see what happened in the story. What did we have? You rest and eat good oatmeal for strength. Oh, sorry, yeah, I've only got one microphone on the front. You also drink some water. You get back on your horse, ride to the next town. This time you stay away from the signs. You figure people won't bother you if they who you are. I need to get my quest. Let's see what happens on the quest. I've got to find this captain named Katya. So let's go look for Katya again. Because this other guy is no use to me. Okay. Very important that I find Captain Katya, because that's my whole quest, so let's do that. Right. Now this thing. Happy New Year! I'm on a quest with the AI dungeon. I ask at the tavern, where could I find Captain Katya? No one knows. You realize you'll have to do this yourself. You ride all something something, and you finally arrive at Captain Katya's house. All right. Which is this random... Have you come across AI Dungeon? It's been in the news like for the last few weeks. It's this AI-driven, plotless adventure game. So it makes it up as it goes along, but it's really coherent for Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So he's probably come across this then. It's quite something. So I'm arrived at Captain Katya's house. So let's. Well, I gotta choose. Do I like kick down the front door, or? Well, I could like snoop around the windows and see if there's any lights on. See if anyone's home. Because if someone's home, then I'll have more like stealthy encounters with the captain. All right, how do you look at this? That is the print unit. It's the head from this. Oh yeah, there were 2 tubes. Oh yeah? Pentodes. And where did I put them? I put them over here somewhere. Yeah, I guessed it was earlier. So I looked at the specs. Yeah, this is not going very well, is it? It seems to have crashed. It seems to have crashed. I think I need a bigger machine. Yeah. Because happened, the out of memory. And I assume it's on the GPU and not on the CPU. But this is like a cheap machine, right? It's Amazon's cheapest GPU machine. It's not a super expensive one. It costs like 75 cents an hour to run it. So yeah, the other point that I have here, I have a tube, a power pentode that somebody donated, and I need to find a use for. What are you going to do with one pentode? Well, you're going to drive it with another one. It looks pretty flaky, this. It's covered in dust and crap. 26DQ5. 26DQ5. No idea what that is, but I think I've got to build a tube amp. So yeah, this thing, yeah, is out of memory, but I don't know if it's out of memory on the CPU side or if it's on the GPU side. I think it has to be on the GPU, because most of the work happens in parallel in TensorFlow on a GPU machine, not on the CPU itself. So I need to go home and do some work on this, I think, not from the Teletype, because working on this from the Teletype is going to be so cumbersome. And I need to start running it on a bigger machine. And then second, I also want to see if I can fix the line length to wrap at 72 characters. And that might need some... Oh yeah, so you can't use VI. No, you can use ED. ED is the standard editor, and you can use ED to edit stuff, but it's a little cumbersome. I'll show you. Yeah. And of course, like tracebacks take forever. And who wants to watch the traceback for hours? All right. What do we got? What do we got here? What do we got over here? What we have over here is I hooked up the end of the carriage return spring onto a screwdriver so that I don't lose it, because I don't want to have to rethread it around this thing. It's really painful. But I took out the print unit, and there's the print unit in all its glory. And so I'll show you some of the interesting aspects of this. Because it's really, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with it. I do need to debug it, and I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go. But we'll look. I'll try to show you kind of my view over this thing, and see if we can fix any of it. Huh. Yeah, several interesting things about this. Several interesting things, but let's go back here. Let's go back here. And we're deep in a traceback. Like, nobody wants a deep traceback like that on a teletype. It could go on forever. So I'm not sure what I should do. I mean, should I just like kill the machine? I could just kill the VM. Which is not such a bad idea anyway. I mean, I know I need to switch onto a different machine, so I can just like stop it. Boom. And then eventually that'll throw me back at the Raspberry Pi. But I may have like a whole kilobyte that's stuck in the buffer waiting to unwind. So anyway, my moderate attempt at game saved. All right. So I can reload the game. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then the connection's gone. All right, my connection's lost. Okay, let's go back here. Yeah, so here I'm on this Raspberry Pi host. It's very expensive. It's actually the paper I start to worry about now. Paper comes in rolls like this. You can buy them online at Staples, but I haven't. Yeah, I'm using old stock paper, and I really shouldn't. I don't have the full ID, do you? I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm using old stock paper, and I should go buy some new stuff because it's cheap. And the old stuff I should save for like special occasions. And the ink, the ribbons are like $5. You can still buy them. My favorite ribbons are made of silk, and they're lovely. So yeah, it's not too expensive to run. The more worrying thing is like, when it breaks, can I fix it? And so that's why I'm really interested in this, experimenting with this print head now, and getting this back into perfect condition, because it's pretty much the last piece. I thought this machine was working properly, and it's just it needs a little final bit of attention. So we will do that and see how that goes. Let me show you a bit of text editing, just so that you get the whole story here. Put this into lowercase compatible mode, so that I can edit and use uppercase and lowercase characters. Then VI is not going to work because VI needs cursors, and cursors needs an actual screen, and you need to be able to move the cursor up and down, and you can't do that. But ED works. And A means append. Hey Dave, Happy New Year to you. If you just joined, we ran AI Dungeon briefly, and then it crashed with it out of memory. And so then I shut down the machine it was running on, which was a G3S X large. And I just basically cloned this here and put it up on Amazon on my little machine. But it ran out of memory on a G3S X large, so I need to switch to a new one, bigger machine. But yeah, in ED, now in append mode, you can just type stuff. And backslash. There we have a text file, and so that's a little simple text file. And then in my terminal, I have that file that I just edited, and it's all lowercase except for the N and the Y that I made uppercase by escaping them with little backslashes. So yeah, that's text editing. Text editing, to do anything more complicated, is laborious. So yeah, let's zoom around here. And move this all the way around here. And how about that? Can it go any closer? No. Yep. All right. Okay. Now hopefully this will be clear enough to see as I kind of inspect this thing. So this is the print unit. Oh, hey, nice. The generic multi-everything. Yeah. Love it. All right. So this is the print thing. What I'm going to try to do, actually, I'm going to move the camera around a little bit more. That's awesome. How about now? That's better. Much better. Okay, I can actually see tools on the workbench, 3D printed things. Oh, Dave, that reminds me. These from my model, I printed your one, and it's basically the same. It's the same thing. The one that I printed, where I had like ABS, and I tried to connect it on here. I think actually my inside diameter is fine, but the flat bit is a little too far in, and so that means that it's not quite a good fit onto the shaft of the printer. So I think I need to change the model slightly, but actually I might just get a file and file out the inside of it a bit, and I'm sure it'll be a good fit. So yeah, yet another unfinished experiment, work in progress. All right, let's look at this thing. So this thing goes that way around if you're looking at it normally, and this is made to rotate and jump. We'll see the mechanism in a bit. And then after it's rotated and jumped into the right position, then this print hammer is released on a spring and hits this and bashes it against the paper. And then everything restarts. So let's tilt it and see the things that you can't normally see from behind, because these are where the interesting stuff begins. So the way that this moves, can you see here? There's a little rack and pinion type thing, and it's not really in focus. There's kind of a rack that has two sides to it here, and it moves when this thing wants to spin. Now, it moves because the bail at the back pushes it into place, I think. The thing that actually makes it spin? I'm not sure. Where's the thing that makes it spin? Yeah, it's the bail at the back that actually makes it spin. But how far it spins, in other words, which character comes out of print, is controlled by which of these little plates are lifted into position. And those are lifted directly by these things that ride on the code bars. And so you've got these bits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. And they're stuck together. Oh no, they're not too sticky. They're a little sticky. But somewhere here I've got something that's not moving freely. And I have to just try each single one of these and see where is it sticking. So that I can figure out why my print was not spinning round all the right way. And actually I think it was sticking because these were lifted and the rack wasn't slipping through the gap in them when they lifted out. So the gap lifts and then it leaves some space to the rack to move through. When these things lift, there's a little hole that leaves enough room for the rack to go through. And it's blurry. Dave says, okay, when I print it is a little loose, so I have to put a bit of tape on the shaft to pad it out. Oh, that's interesting. Come on, focus here. Autofocus, come on, autofocus on here. There we are. Yeah, that rack. That's the bit that makes it determine how far it's going to spin. And how far it's going to spin is basically there's a hole in these plates that the rack goes through. So some of the way that these are moving is sticky. And is sticky in a way that when it unspins the other way, it releases it. So maybe it's just gunk on these things? Or maybe it's gunk on the rack, the pinion kind of movement itself. And then at the side you can see how these things actually fit together. And these things lift into position, and then eventually the power bail here moves backwards and forwards and releases this here that thwacks this into place here. So that's approximately the movement. These are all the confined. I'm going to double make sure that these are all loose. There's some adjustments that you can make here, but I don't think I need to, and I don't want to adjust anything that I don't need to. Oh, and that reminds me, this here is kind of interesting. This at the back, you can reach in with a screwdriver from the front. This adjusts basically like the tilt of how these characters are finally printed. So this is the fine-tuning is partly here. And with this model, it's a super late print head because it was made in like 79 or something. And you can reach in here and adjust it with a screwdriver. Previous ones, you need to get in there and lever the side with a crow point, like this thing here, like a pry point. So I need to like go pay attention to this thing and try work all the bits and see if I can figure out where it's sticking. And it's going to take a little while, I think. So, should I just leave the camera on and just like noodle on this thing? Probably. If it's boring, just like tune into something different, put some music on. Because I want to poke in here and make sure that these are actually, that there's no gunk. I can't see anything. I'm old enough that I need little glasses. Are you all set for your phone? Yes. Well, if I fix this thing. That's why I'm here. Did you notice a pair of reading glasses? What? Did you see a pair of reading glasses?
No, I didn't. Do they look like safety glasses?
No, they just look like.
No, I did not see it.
Oh, but we have like, yeah, we have little lens things here. Thanks to Charlie.
We have these too. We have a couple of these.
Yeah. I have a pair of reading glasses in there somewhere.
Did you lose it like 2 weeks ago or a week ago?
I am looking for one.
I think I probably grabbed it. I think because when I see them, they're usually Teresa's. And I think it's like, what's Teresa been doing over here? So it's
Yeah.
Brown frame.
Don't remember. Brown, dark anyway. Yeah.
They're like a CBS frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll grab it next time.
Yeah, but don't worry. I'll survive with like this little lens here. Yeah, let's have a poke in here and see. So, it's not boring, it's fascinating. Thanks for explaining the general mechanics. Yeah, and this is me just like poking about. I'm not really an expert on this. I'm just on my third machine. So, yeah, I can't claim expertise, and I have a limited amount of experience, and hopefully the experience makes up for lack of like skill. Yes, today is Wednesday, January the 1st, and on January the 4th, which is Saturday, in the afternoon, we are hosting the Boston Vintage Computing Meetup. And so if you're in the Boston area, come down, hang out at the Brickyard, bring any machinery that you want. I mean, a couple of people are talking about bringing interesting pieces of kit. And we'll sit and play with vintage computing toys. And hopefully we'll have a longer session on the AI Dungeon. I mean, that's really why I came down here this morning, is to get the AI Dungeon debugged a little and get this machine debugged a little so that we can work on it. Yeah. So let's see. Can I see the state of the world in here through this little lens? Well, that I think is okay. It's moving. It's moving just fine. And of course my thing is dropping lint in it, which is not the best idea. And that is moving okay. And that is moving okay. And there's no gunk in there. There's no gunk in there. Let's see what else. The spinniness. So let's go back and think about this again. A little too far. Oh, yes. I mean, we'll have some Boston area people here, and I mean, a lot of the fun of these things is just like the smell and the tactileness of this whole thing, and so yeah, open house. Yeah, now rethink this. The problem that I'm seeing is related to the spinniness. And where's that cheat sheet again? There it is. The problem that I'm having is that I type A and I see the letter C. But if I type 9, then it resets and it works okay again. I type 1 and I get 3, but if I type 9, then it resets and it's okay again. And I type Q and I get S, but if I type 9, then it resets and it's okay again. So this is all to do with the number 2 bit, which is controlling how far back around it is spinning. So let's see. The number 2 bit, there's this one. Oh, that's interesting, because this one is not a up and downy thing in the same way. And there's this. This is the bail. Yeah, that one's different. Then there's this, which is the final one. This is the second one. This is the first one. Oh, and my one here is in a stuck position. So this is moving freely. This is moving freely, and then this one is in position because the bail is there, because of the way it's turned. So they're all moving freely. Yeah, and they're not moving together. They're not stuck together. Let's do this with a spiky. Let's do this with one of these. That. Oh, that is interesting. They are located together. And then this is the other one. This is fascinating machinery, and I still don't understand it. Let's look at some of the other adjustments over here. The rail, you can adjust how closely it holds against it. This, oh, there we are. There we are again. This is the up and downness. This is the up and downness, and how far up and down is then controlled by whether these things are in the way or not. This is the piece that Curious Mark had a stucky issue with. But if I get in there, and I've lost my favourite little screwdriver because I'm using it for something else. Yeah. That's the one. That is the picture. Model 33 type wheel chart. And yes, I think it's the same. It is. It's exactly the same chart. And so yeah, that chart is exactly the layout of the print wheel, and the whole print wheel has to spin entirely around for this to work. It has to be able to spin all the way around and up together. 7 and 8 must be the ones sticking together, if that makes any sense. Let's go back to the chart. 7 and 8. So my theory here is actually that 8 is irrelevant. Now this may not be true. My working assumption is that 8 is completely irrelevant. It's like the parity bit. And that 7 is all set. But the number 2, I'm hitting a 2 when it should be freed up. And then I go here and it unsticks the number 2. And then I go back here and it's fine. But it's the number 2 bit. And, ooh, smells of soldering. Oh, I love that smell. And the number 2 bit, if I'm right, the number 2 bit is this one. Is this one here. I think that's right. Now this is slightly mysterious to me because this is, it doesn't have a plastic like bail on it, and I'm not sure why. And this doesn't affect how far it spins. It has some other effect. And I don't know what that other effect is, because I don't see anything else that's connected to it. But it doesn't have a slot in it. It's the last one. It's like the racks always come to here at the end. And so if that moves up and down, I don't know what the difference is. But that, I think, is... This is like the print action one. This is bit 1, if I'm reading this right. I could be completely wrong. And this is bit 2. And bit 2 was staying stuck in place. And then bit 3, oh, and it feels a little... I can feel a little grittiness on there. So maybe I should just like lubricate the other end of it. The free end. And then this is 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 7 is a height one, so I've got it wrong. And 8 is not relevant. Oh, they're swapped. Go to my numbers here. 1, 2, 6, 4, 5, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6. Bit 6 is ignored. So okay, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, and then 6 and 8 are ignored. Yep, you can't see that. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6. I've got the manuals somewhere, but they're a little laborious to churn through. So yeah. Anyway, these are all approximately okay. There's nothing obviously bad. If I get in there and dry up some of the gunk, I reach in there. Not the biggest fan of these pipe cleaners because they're leaving lint. They're leaving lint in places that don't want lint. Ugh. But would never go amiss here. Okay, let's look from the other side. As the rack turns, does this go up smoothly? And when it does, is anything sticking? From the side, there's nothing sticking. There's no stickiness at all. They're moving perfectly nicely. There is no stickiness. And the verticalness, that's all fine. It's not, it's a very, very weak spring on this thing. I don't know where that spring is, but it's, the spring that manages that is super, super weak. That does the verticalness. And why has it suddenly got all grungy? Why has it suddenly gotten all grungy, like it doesn't want to move?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Do you have any little switches, like little push button switches? Or toggle switches? Or?
I have a little toggle switch. It's not super little. You see on the thing there?
Yeah.
Is that too big for you?
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop by. If we don't, with all the parts we have, we don't have.
Yeah, I also have, I think in the basement I have some more switches. I have like a couple push buttons.
Yeah, I'll swing by when you do it.
Yeah.
Pick something up.
It's a bit out of the way though, isn't it?
No, it's actually on my way to work.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's handy.
I'm sad to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean for me that's like Needham is a trek.
Yeah, put together a shopping list for me. And I'll pick up whatever you need.
Yeah. Was it just rotation in the other direction that was resetting it? Yes, absolutely. It was rotating the other way that was clearing this back out. Which says to me that it was a stickiness at this point that was releasing it. because it's these things, and you still can't really focus on these things. These things down here, these little racks. And maybe if I just check whether they are gumming, I can see in the back of here they're sliding against little slider things under here, and that are really impossible to see. And then they're sliding carriage under here, and maybe if I just concentrate on the twistiness and double check lubrication on anywhere that twists. Well, that's interesting. I don't know if you can see it. There's a whole thing here, like a rim, where you can see how it twists. And that's the bearing. And maybe if I just oil all of the twisty bearing bits. Now it's not twisting freely because the rack is not open, right? So there's no way for it to move. But if I just make it twist as freely as possible, then maybe that's it. I thought it was sticking because these weren't releasing. But it could be that it was just sticking through regular stiction in the shaft somewhere. And I'm trying to hold this like as carefully as possible because I don't want to accidentally move things that are like aligned a particular way, because then all sorts of badness might happen. Let's see. My springs are all in decent condition. Okay. What I need is not a big thing of oil like that, but I need my little oil pen. You know, there's nothing worse than having a disorganized workbench, and that is just like me all over. The disorganized workbench is my entire life these days. Ha. I can't find my little oily pen. So how am I going to get oil in the right places without my oil pen? A little inconvenient. Alright, well, let's do it the boring old-fashioned way. By just dripping oil where it seems like it ought to go. Lens is not used to anybody. Okay, that rotation is clean. This thing here has a little felt under it. The felt is totally well lubricated. This itself is fine. This piece here is fine. That's fixed, it's not moving. These are fine. These are well oiled. These are all perfectly well oiled. These moving shafts, I'm going to add a little bit on them. This is fine, this is fine. This is fine. Let's go deep into the middle of it from this side. That felt is good. That rack is fine. Oh yeah, the far end of the rack under here. The far end of the rack under here, I think is okay. It certainly doesn't appear to be sticky. There's no obvious gunk. There's a little gunk in the rack itself. But I don't know if I can get in there with a cloth to clean it. Yeah. And it's not bad, it's just like a little surface stuff. I mean, overall, this is ridiculously clean. It just has like a little surface dust. This is moving. This is... I think this is okay. Right. Let's look in here. That is a little twisted. It's a little bit bent. Why is it bent? See why it's bent? You can't see. Finally, XOR hash. Finally able to catch a stream again. Where are you? This is a middle of the day time zone here. So, yeah, that. I'll see. It's not really bent. It's just a little piece. And if anything, there's too much oil on that thing. No such thing as too much oil, right? But that is actually twisted for reasons that I can't explain. Alright, you can see it. Your evening time zone, middle of the night for me. Oh yeah, nice. Yes. So yeah, this is afternoon GMT. So this is twisted. So this thing here is higher than this thing here. And that means that this here is rubbing against these plates, where this one here is clear. So that twistedness could explain why this was sticking and that the rotation wasn't allowing it to free. But why is it twisted? And is there anything I can do about it? And I don't know the answer. And I kind of wish that there was like an easy way to take this whole thing apart and just explode it and just work on the bit in the middle without having to deal with all the outside of it. But that's mechanics for you, right? Mechanisms. Software is so much easier than hardware. Don't you agree, Ted?
No, I prefer hammers.
Hammers
I like using hammers.
And anything that welds too.
Yeah. Anything you can hit or throw. Software is far too frustrating.
Yeah, but at least software you can get in the middle of it. Like
you can. Maybe. Yeah, it's a big mystery. I found a perfect little switch, but I don't feel like cutting a rectangular hole.
Oh no.
Alright, I'm out of here. Have fun, don't hurt anybody.
Oh yeah. Yes, I've got to reassemble this at some point.
Let me know if you need anything for Saturday.
Yes, I think, Ted, what I think I'm going to do is I'll just take these monitors off the table here and clear it, if that's good by you. And we'll probably take over the table there, depending how many people turn up. Yeah.
And we have a bunch of tables that we just brought in that are those sawhorses with doors.
Oh, cool.
They're right here. They're right around the corner.
Oh, awesome. So we can set up more tables. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll have tons of people. We'll have a half a dozen. So.
And I'm going to try to clean up this desk area.
Yeah.
In a bit.
Clean the workshop. That's the never-ending task, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. See ya. All right. So why was this sticking? My working theory is this was sticking here because it is slightly skew, because there's signs of wear on it, and it is definitely slightly askew. And it's not rough to rotate, but it's definitely a little effort. I mean, there's a bunch of parts moving when I rotate it, but it is a little efforty, and all of that effort is driven by the code bars lifting it. So I wonder, I mean, if I lift this thing, if I take this thing out, it'll probably explode into little pieces that I'll never find again. Yeah, I mean, one thing about this unit in general is it came out of a CNC shop, and there was little shards of metal that I found, just a few, but in strategic places inside the machine. And so besides having a mouse in it, it had bits of metallic debris, and so maybe there's a bit of metallic debris that I just haven't found yet that's sitting inside of here somewhere. That's the cause of the ills. I don't know, it seems unlikely. What else? What else can I see there through this dark glass? I think it's literally just like frictiony. I don't think there's anything bad on there. This holds it up and down, and that's moving fine. The general rotation is just a little gunky, and the sliding mechanism is okay, but maybe this thing literally just is too high. Why would it be too high? What makes it that height. It's sliding freely. Relatively, it's sliding freely, and then when these move up into place, it slides all the way through to spin around to hit the bar. So that's the way it should be. Then it untangles, they all release, which they do anyway. Yeah, which way am I going? This is the 9 way, this is the way it was releasing. Now this is where it wasn't going far enough that way. And this was on the way back then. And on the way back, that stops it on the way back. It goes as far as there. Well, and the shrapnels are moving towards the heart of the machine. Yeah. I think everything eventually just falls through. It falls through the code bars into the little, like, into the base of the machine. There's nowhere bad it goes. Right, let's see. What happened there to make that flip through? Now here we see the whole thing moving, because maybe it's actually one of these interdependent mechanisms that's releasing. Maybe it's like this thing is not releasing it right, and sure enough there's signs of wear on the back of that too. This whole thing is like a little too complicated for me. Like X moves Y and Y moves Z, and the like causality relationships of machinery are a little too complicated for me to actually grok. Well, what do you think? I didn't fix anything. I totally didn't fix anything. I'm tempted to just put it back together, oil some other strategic kind of places, reassemble it to make sure that nothing broke, and go try again. See if anything actually changed. And hope that it's not worse than before, because that's like normally a good strategy, right? Did I break it this time? I hope I didn't break it this time. Yeah. Alright. Where was that other piece? There was another piece that was like... That's all moving fine. That's all doing okay. Oh yeah, there. On the back of there. That was looking a little sticky. And I don't even know why that's in that place there, but it's not sticky anymore, even if it was. Alright, I'm going to reassemble. Did you turn it off? Yes. Did you turn it back on again? Not yet. That's where it's going to go back again. once things work right. My battery on the camera is just about to go, so I'm going to swap that out and then put this thing back in. Swap 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Click. Click. Ching. There we are again. All right. Right. Let's try put it back on. So the pieces go in like this. Now I didn't move the type unit and the keyboard. It's actually easier, I think, to reach in there if I move the typing unit. So let's do that. The typing unit just lifts. Oh no, I've got to remove the edge plate first. Can I do this without moving the typing unit? Let's try. So, is it the right way round? Yes. Can I get these pieces onto the right rows? That's the hard bit. So these need to sit on the right bars, otherwise everything's going to be messed up. So that is critically important. And we go like that, and like that. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, that's wrong. It's not quite 1 over yet. 1. Bit 1. Alright. The first bit. The second bit. The third bit, fourth bit, fifth bit, or sixth and seventh, whichever way around those things go. Alright, we have all the bits. Nope, we busted them a bit. I think we have all the bits on the right places. Yep. Those are in the right places. That's their end. Then this will hold it. Okay. Does it move? Okay, it doesn't quite move because the bail is not in the right place yet. There we are. Yay, now it moves. And it moves freely. It moves freely and the bits are in the right places. Let's hook this on. approximately. I should fix this first, I think. Where's that end? There's that end. And yep, it's still moving great. There's my spring. There's the carriage return spring. And then there's this bit. Yeah. Right. I need the freedom of that. There we are. Okay. All right. Getting there. Foliage. I don't know what that means. Foliage. There's no, my bot is not running on this thing, on the switch channel, so there's no smart commands on this thing, and it's just running regular kind of OBS. I'm not doing Streamlabs stuff right now. Okay, that's in place. Where did I put the piece? Oh no. I don't know why. It's ratcheting. Oh, of course it's ratcheting. I need to undo the ratchet. There we are, that's better. Yeah. Finally, let me fix this. I get a reasonable tension on that thing. Okay. All right. Need some new paper. Okay. There's some paper. What about some ink? I was thinking it might be a slow bot. Oh. No, it's just not a bot. Right, now is this working? If I just move the motor by hand, then we'll see. Hopefully everything is reasonably well lined up and moving smoothly. If I turn the power on and it's not moving smoothly, then things are going to break. But yeah, that's all doing great. So let's get some ribbon. Okay. Get some ribbon. All right. Let's get some power. Oh no, I've made it worse. think I've made it completely worse. Yeah. When I print H, it types X. What does that thing say again? Where's H and X? My verticals are all messed up. When I do a J, when I type J, it prints Z. My verticals are all messed up. If I type B, it prints R. My verticals are all messed up. When I type E, it's going to print U, isn't it? It is. Oh well, I did something wrong. So this is where actually having two machines is invaluable. Because if I have two machines, I can go look at the other one. I pretty much did. Okay, I've knocked over the camera. I've put it back in a way that looks right, but is not. Whoops. I messed up my camera position together. Yeah. I got some work to do here. Okay, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to sign off the stream. I have to like do normal things for some of the day, and we'll finish this. If I might get some time to work on this during the week. And I think it's literally I've just done something that that affects the vertical position here, that I need to go like check. I don't think I broke anything. I just put it back in a slightly wrong position or something. But a few steps of testing with this thing will get me somewhere. Let's see, today's Wednesday, the 1st. Saturday we have this meetup here at the shop, at the Brickyard in Lynn, Massachusetts. So Saturday afternoon we'll work on this, if I don't get a chance before. And I might get a chance before then. And the other thing that we'll do on Saturday is we'll play some more with the very lovely AI dungeon that we looked at before and almost had working, and that infinite adventures await. Yeah, and I will. It's like, yeah, it takes time. Like I say, this other machine, having this other machine is a delight. So yeah, yeah. I'm going to unplug this one. No, I'm going to do a little bit more testing on this one. Meanwhile, to sign off the stream, I think I'll just print a emoji, my favorite emoji ever. And this one worked pretty well when I printed a few of these over the holidays. So this is my favorite emoji. So it does an overlay in very gingerly, because my camera's going to fall over again. But this is Overstrike ASCII art. And my new lines are not working. It's a little too overstriked. Wow. It should only overstrike like once. So yeah, ASCII art emojis. And my new line is sticking. Oh no! I don't know why. No, no, no! What's going on? Okay. Let's just say it's a sign. Yeah, that's right. This is totally a limited edition. Okay, let's just say I have some work to do here, and I need to be very careful about it. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. It's been awesome fun, as always. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. See you on Twitter.